If you do this, they might cancel the show.
No, they won't do that. I mean, everyone knows you're the favorite, and I'm just the guy who gets hit in the head with a pipe each week. It's fine.
Okay, so you're gonna risk all of Rescue Rangers because I'm a little more popular than you. Do you know how dumb that is?
Well, I am the dumb one.
What's up, Docs and Docettes? Trevor Thompson, the self-appointed Looney Tunes critic here. And this is my quick as you please review of Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, the movie. And I'm not going to be giving you a review of the, going over the story or crap like that. I mean, that's a kind of a generic review, and that's quite frankly not the type of thing I do. I'm not going to get all dressed up to do some generic shit. So specifically what I'm addressing in this video is the idea. I've heard a few people suggest that it's not an homage to Roger Rabbit, but on some level trying to be like Roger Rabbit or be this generation's Roger Rabbit. And as the Looney Tunes critic, I've said many times, and as myself, I've said many times, I do consider 1988's Who Framed Roger Rabbit to be a Looney Tunes movie, even though it's not. It really isn't, especially since it's not a Warner Brothers movie. But I will be addressing all of that. That is the angle I'll be going with on this whole thing, my covering of this. Just to start off, though, right off the bat, I will tell you this. I do like this movie. I do like this movie very much. I laughed a lot more than I thought I was going to. And I want to tell you that what you're going to find is that the things that I like about it are not animation related. And the nitpicks, and I'm choosing that word specifically, the nitpicks that I have about this are animation related. So maybe on that level alone, it's not worthy of being, given the mantle of the Roger Rabbit name, in terms of quality. But I would argue there's moments of sheer brilliance in Roger Rabbit that have nothing to do with animation. Anyway, here's the review.
A message on my landline. I don't like that.
I know you're still mad about Rescue Rangers getting canceled, but I've just got a call from the police and I need your help.
So basically the story of the movie is, it doesn't have a lot to do with reality. The reality that we know about, Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers being what it was and being even though this movie is a nostalgia romp, the original Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers was in itself a nostalgia romp of sorts, because Rescue Rangers was it was Disney trying to be modern and use the characters and the characters it had in its stable and in the modern setting. And so that's kind of if you're not going to keep the continuity from the old cartoons, which again, I'm glad they didn't do that, because one of the most insufferable things about it would be their voices. I mean, even in the original cartoon, they had to give them these other characters, because just the two of them going back and forth in those heavily pitched up voices would be insufferable. I remember the cartoon, so I can say that from a point of perspective. Even in the late 80s when I was watching this cartoon, the voices were, it was a bit much. So after a while, so it is nostalgic, but it's also not beholden to any kind of weird canon or continuity that really needs to be honored in any kind of way. I think it's a very interesting story about the two chipmunks, voiced, in my estimation, brilliantly by John Mulaney and Andy Samberg, two great comics. If you're going to do this kind of stuff and you're going to make funny, I mean, if Hollywood must use known celebrities and names to do the voices that arguably a good voice actor would do better, it should be comedians, and indeed it is here.
I've been talking through burps.
And indeed, they're great.
Does anyone need anything? Just take a pause, John.
So it's the two of them, Chip and Dale, Mulaney and Sandberg, and they were famous once with that show, and now it's there's a long time has gone by and it's a revival show. And as you can see, Dale is a CGI version now of himself. He's had the surgery, as it's kind of referred to, and it's a good little story, and it works as the story that they have works as a good catch-all for a lot of jokes and even commentary about animation in general, which, in addition to the trailer that came out,
Just take a pause.
that did strongly feature Roger Rabbit in it, the one shot of Roger Rabbit, that and that too is like, I think, is what's responsible for the Roger Rabbit comparison. The fact that it's not just an excuse to do jokes about animation, but the plot allows for it. This is an example of that. Space Jam and Tom and Jerry would be a bad example of that, I would say.
Chip!
Dale, you look different.
It's no secret I had the CGI surgery. What's been up with you?
You know, this, that, other vague things to fill the space of this conversation.
Cool.
It's the edge of your seat thriller that hits like a ton of bricks.
We tones may act idiotic, but we're not stupid.
Roger Rabbit, to me, qualifies as a Looney Tunes movie for a number of reasons that I don't need to get into here. I've look on any number of videos about Roger Rabbit on the channel here, and you'll hear those thoughts. But I feel like a lot of people are hungry to call or to have another Roger Rabbit, something that was that. But like I said, I was around in the 80s, and I was the target audience. In 1988, I was 10 years old, and that's when Roger Rabbit came out, and I was eating it up. I was a big Looney Tunes fan. I was, I think Bakshi's Mighty Mouse was still on the air at that point, and I was just hook, line, and sinker. I was in. So it might be difficult for me to have pure objectivity in this matter because, Roger Rabbit to me is very different than what it is to people on a universal level. Because while some people may look at it as this great homage to the golden age of animation, you don't have to appreciate that in order to really enjoy Roger Rabbit. And that's true of this. And I can't say that about Space Jam, the sequel, which I gave a C+. It wasn't terrible at all. I thought it would be, but again, unless you're, the movie has to, it can't live for, everything can't live to be an homage to hand-drawn animation. So that is a nitpick about this movie that and I'm sure a lot of people in my field have had, where, you've got Chip and Dale here. Chip is supposed to be 2D, hand-drawn animation, and Dale is CGI, but they're both CGI. There's a number of quick scenes that are hand-drawn here in this movie that are, put in the background and are really like kind of one-shot things around these CG 2D shaded characters to make you feel like it's hand-drawn. And I'm not saying they did a bad job, because I honestly, I think my objectivity in this area, in that particular area, is comparing the actual hand-drawn 2D animation with the stuff that's a computer with cell shading and even some puppet rigging. But that's a nitpick for me. When it's done in something like Space Jam or Tom and Jerry, those movies already suck. There's handfuls of moments that are decent, but overall, the viewing experience isn't that great. The comedy isn't that great. The acting isn't that great. I love Chloe. I love I love LeBron James. I loved, all that stuff, but it didn't work. Both of those movies sucked, and the fact is that, the bad fake 2D animation in it just stuck out even more. So, I'm willing to forgive it. Even as an animation snob, I'm willing to forgive that kind of stuff.
It was like professional. Same time. Jinx, you owe me a non-brand specific cola. What? That was crazy. Somebody call Guinness Book. This is incredible. Oh, we lost it.
Best friend, best friend, best friend, best friend.
But I hope you like what we do here on this channel. My name is Trevor Thompson, the self-appointed Looney Tunes critic, and I'm a part of a bigger multi-channel network on YouTube called Ferris Wheelhouse. And so look for other channels that'll be sprouting up in the future. Be sure to subscribe. And what else did I want to talk about? I do think it's really funny that there's nothing in the original show about Gadget. Like there's a Chip and Dale, have like crushes on her and they do that, but there's nothing in the original about Gadget and Zipper having, and spoilers, she and Zipper have kids in this, and it's not like a gag, it's like legit in there. And I guess it's funny because I never considered that Zipper had any kind of feelings for her except when I saw that episode of Robot Chicken where Gadget was bottomless.
What has gotten into everyone, Zipper? Zipper!
He's literally jacking off on her. I love it. Speaking of no pants and subscribing to Ferris Wheelhouse, everybody sing the Ferris Wheelhouse cheer with no pants.